Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video and another episode of the Locked Up podcast. I hope you guys are doing well nowadays. So today we have some good news though because there's some uh, uh, what do you say? There's some stuff going on around. Oh yeah, first of all, this let me introduce my co-host Sakshin.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, so today we are gonna talk about weird psychosocial experiments and phenomena.
Yeah, that's what we are going to talk about today mainly.
Yeah, mainly. Yeah, but still, beginning, I just want to talk about things which happened yesterday though in Karnataka and around almost everywhere in India. Uh, Sakshin, you might know what happened though. The alcohol thing which boosted
Oh
everyone
yeah,
calling it
yeah. Of course.
everyone calling it an economic booster.
That's true though. I did read some statistics where it said that almost 20%. I think that's which a very huge number. Commodity sales are actually alcohol beverages, which is a pretty crazy number to be honest. And also the not just it's not just good for private businesses, it's also good for government because alcohol has one of the highest tax rates, as you might know. So major chunk of profits and businesses that is gained by the alcohol sales you know is a income to the government. So it kind of makes sense, that they you know uplifted the restrictions on its sale, but at the same time I don't know what the implications will be. And by the way, I think it was Congress leader Adir Ranjaragan who said that in case if they didn't lift the restrictions on the sale of alcohol,
Mhm.
there might have been a thriving black market for it, which is I think absolutely true. you know
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
yeah.
And you heard the new thing which Delhi government is doing there, like putting like 70% tax on alcohol called some Corona fee or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. So like everyone is like actually shocked that there's a 70% tax on the um, alcohol right now, which is because of they call it corona tax or something like that. But the thing is, but even without that 70% corona tax, still the alcohol beverages tax is way more. I don't know the actual statistics, but it's way more. For example, you can like I stay in Belgaum, and
Yeah.
my neighboring state is Goa, and you can see the price differences between Goa and other states. That itself shows that the state government as well as the central government heavily tax on alcohol beverage. So it's a major source of income for the government too. And with this current pandemic that's going on, obviously the government has took a pretty big hit. So in case of um, income tax collection and stuff, because of business don't works, like there are no income for the government and government can't spend more, so it's like a vicious cycle basically. And that's why these kinds of situations are always so deadly.
Yeah. Many
Yes.
people were happy, but I think so. This might hit the like rise in Corona. This thing,
I mean,
all
I
the
did. I
business.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about the some of the videos and photos that were coming online that where
Yeah,
that showed people cramming together and
yeah,
obviously ignoring all the social distance guidelines. But
yeah,
I did see some strong responses, especially from I think Delhi CM
yeah. I think so.
Kejriwal, who said that he's gonna suspend. He's gonna suspend those activities and put those areas of places in lockdown where these kind of events happen, that is the social distancing guidelines are not appreciated or not followed. So yeah, we need
Yeah,
to
but I think
watch.
maximum places like people followed, but there were like some places where people were crammed up and shit.
Yeah, but I was happy to see some videos where there were long lines, like
Yeah, long lines
the
and no fights at all. Everyone was
no
peacefully
fights,
waiting.
peaceful, and they were maintaining the distance. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's okay, man. Like yeah,
I saw around my house like the boxes which were like drawn. It went like up to a kilometer or something. So they
yeah.
were expecting people to cram up there.
Yeah, one thing that I'm really worried about is, as alcohol is a very aggressive inducer, so
Yeah,
like aggressiveness inducer. So I'm kind of worried, like, what might be the consequences of, in a poor family, especially in a poor family where the
yeah,
father is drunk and he's home all the time. It's not like he's drunk and he has fallen outside. You can't even do that. So he's home all
yeah.
the time, and this might lead to increase in domestic violence and such.
True.
But yeah, it's like it's kind of hard to argue, man. Like social implications and economic implications, like both are equally bad. Maybe social implications are a bit more worse, but still, yeah. And
You think there might be a dive in like alcohol consumption, or do you think it's still the same
nah,
because there
nah,
was like
like
more than like a 21-day period lockdown for alcohol, and
I
according to psychologists,
I
I
mean,
think so.
like,
It's like takes
I was
21
talking.
days.
Yeah, that's what, like, I was talking with some of my classmates, like, this is a very unique situation, especially for medical students. I mean, like, especially if you are a third year medical student or a fourth year medical student who has just completed his community medicine, that is epidemiology.
Yeah.
You have learned about all these, like, this is a pandemic, right? So like,
Mm.
we in medical school they teach us about how a pandemic progresses, or we
Mm.
don't really talk about pandemic, it's a vague word, but like epidemic, how epidemic progresses, how do we, like, there are steps to what are the measures that we can do, what are the steps to control this type of epidemic,
Mm.
like, it's a really amazing, I mean, to be honest, it's a very lengthy and sometimes boring subject, but the thing is, now when you see the live events happening, you
Mm.
tend to apply them and stuff. So I
Mm.
was talking with some of my classmates, like, since social distancing measures are being followed right now,
Mm.
so anyways, there is there'll be that is to obviously decrease the incidence of the disease, that is the COVID-19. But
Mm.
what about other diseases which also have human to human transmission, and might be and the incidence because of these guidelines might fall drastically because of it. For example,
Mm.
I gave the example of tuberculosis is one of the worst chronic respiratory diseases that is prevalent in India, like very prevalent in India. It's a
I guess we lightly touched upon it in the last podcast. Like, India is the only country which gives a vaccination for TB or something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, we did touch upon that. So you can see that, not India is not the only country, but
No, not
the
only.
burden on India is very high, and it's a chronic disease. You need like 8 months, 6 months of treatment, man. It's really hard. The patient compliance is very low. So the thing is,
Mhm.
like government, if I mean, I know the government is busy with other stuff, but like, if they could like implement some measures to aggressively
Mhm.
control these diseases too,
Mhm.
like, and also, for example, drug problems in certain areas like Punjab, and all
Mhm.
those places, and also alcohol problems. So
Mhm.
they can set up like new rehab centers,
Mhm.
so that people who can't access these kinds of stuff, instead of committing suicides, as we discussed this in my last podcast too, they
Yeah.
can reach out to these rehabs and places where they might maybe get some kind of. So the thing is, the overall
Mhm.
burden might be lessened by taking this as an opportunity instead of viewing this as a purely a disaster. So that's just some of my thoughts. I mean, I don't know how, like, I have no idea what kind of strategies they would use to induce these kinds of stuff, but these are some of my like thinking, and it's good to think these things. Yeah.
True, true. But I think so, like all this rehab and stuff, it's like seem kind of like a social this thing which people like hate in India because see, most of the
Yeah,
people in India aren't that educated though.
absolutely, man. Like, the thing is, compared to Western countries, India and other Eastern, countries, Eastern Asian countries, there's a very
Mhm.
high stigma to mental illness and all sorts of psychiatric illnesses,
Yeah, yeah. People don't
addiction
take it that
disorders.
seriously.
It's not that
Like,
they take it, they don't take it seriously. They suffer, they have first hand experience, they know the problems of it. But they think that showing to a doctor and going to these rehabs is kind of a like blotch on their family name or something, and they're very hesitant
yeah.
to do that. And also I
True.
think some of them think that it's not very effective, which is absolutely
Mhm.
wrong. It's very very effective. And like as Gandhi used to say, we should look at a person, we should look at the sin, not the sinner. That means to say that you need to differentiate the disorder, the disease that the person is going through, the addiction problem, and
Mhm.
the person has two different entities, and we need to fight that instead of this. And but people think that the person is overall, this thing. So there are a lot of stigmas and taboos regarding rehabs and all this
Mhm.
addiction problems,
Mhm.
which people usually tend to overlook, which they don't seem to take help and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
True, true. So let's dive into today's topic, I guess so. What do you think?
Yeah. So yeah, today we are going to talk mainly about some you know psychological phenomenon. And the reason we use the word psychosocial phenomenon is because some of these phenomenons have to deal with the entire it's not about individual person. When I say psychological, it's about usually about individual. When I say psychosocial, that usually means it's not just about the individual, it's about the group. For example, you can
Group of
take
people.
the bystander phenomena, as you rightly mentioned. like
Mhm.
uh, like we see in India, it's too common, man. It's so common that it's kind of shameful, honestly. Like
The best
there's a person.
example for bystander phenomenon is like
Yeah.
what is it? It's not like exactly bystander phenomenon, but this happens in India a lot. You see, there was a meme trend going on recently. That JCB thing.
Yeah.
One just stands and looks at it. Everyone just crowds up there and starts looking at it.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
a small example for a bystander phenomenon.
So, bystander phenomena mainly includes like not being the first person to come ahead and do the right thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
like waiting for others to do the stuff. Like that's what is mainly prevalent in India. Like they don't want to do the
Mhm.
work. They want others to do the work. Something like that.
Yeah.
So these are some of the
True.
examples of psychosocial phenomena, and also behavioral and cognitive phenomena. So, and also biases. Mainly what we're talking here is about biases what a person or individual has.
Mhm.
So yeah, so some of the examples are something called Bader-Meinhof phenomena. Then there is
Mhm.
Dunning-Kruger effect, bandwagon phenomena, gambler's fallacy, and
Mhm.
some of the others. There's one interesting effect called women are wonderful effect. Have you ever heard of this one?
No, no, not until you mentioned that.
There is a wonderful study. I think it was done by some, I think, Italian French people,
Okay.
which says that which they conducted a study where a proportionate amount of men and women were taken into account, and then they saw
Mhm.
that like positive attributes were usually
Mhm.
assigned to women, and usually
Mhm.
negative attributes were assigned to men.
Man.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like that's what they call women are wonderful effect.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the thing is, like you tend to appreciate women as a whole. Like they are passive, they are emotional, they are more caring,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
but men are usually violent and aggressive people and stuff like that. So
True.
which got me very interested. So I was looking at this stuff, and I did find it true. Like that's true. Like that's
Mhm.
not like I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or it's a good thing. This is just an observation that people made.
Mhm.
And also they made a conclusion that in a less egalitarian society, like for
Mhm.
example India, egalitarianism is nothing but equality. So the places
Mhm.
where men and women are not equal, where men and women are like where men usually dominate and it's a very patriarchal society,
Mhm.
in that kind of places this phenomena exists more, like men in power or men in if they are in a higher social construct, then
Mhm.
they tend to praise women, and like not just they, even women themselves, it's
Mhm.
like it's not just like men are praising women, it's not like that, it's just like it's in a general, even female,
Mhm.
the females think that women are generally like this thing. But the thing is,
Mhm.
as countries become, as societies become more egalitarian, where the equality increases, then they
Mhm.
also tend to think men in a positive light, like
Mhm.
even it's not just the woman are wonderful effect is lesser prominent in such societies, which is very interesting to me. So like if I'm not saying this effect is like 100% true, but in case if it is, one could use this to like measure a society. Like you can ask, you can just go into some like think some of the egalitarian societies in the world are some Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and all those places. So,
Mhm.
if you go there and if you ask, what do you think about men in general and what do you think about women in general,
Mhm.
they tend to answer the both nice, in a nice way. They don't demonize men and they don't praise women in a general. So, like I think we could use this as a yardstick of measurement in a society, generally speaking.
Mhm.
So this is really wonderful to me. Yeah, so this is basically woman wonderful effect.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because I have done this before too, like I'm not gonna lie. Like I always
Well,
like,
people usually do. I guess men usually do.
yeah, so like I tend to like positive attributes for women. It's interesting, it's really interesting
But
to watch.
women might have another view, though. I think so.
Yeah, the
But
thing
still,
is,
everyone is entitled to their opinion.
I mean, yeah, like if you think about today's women, like they tend to say that you don't need to be like they use these words very often, like condescending, and and all that, like like as if you don't need to praise them, and maybe that's true. Like you look at a girl as an individual and you judge them based on her character, not just because she's a girl, and that's what a truly equal society one would make, I guess. So yeah, there's
True.
a lot to, I think that requires a whole another podcast, honestly. So that's
Yeah.
really wonderful. So yeah, talking about next is one of my favorite phenomenons known as Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chat these things as I say.
Mhm.
First was women are wonderful effect. Then there was, I think, beta. Now let's talk about Bader-Meinhof phenomena. This is a very
Mhm.
interesting phenomena. Archit, have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've kind of heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but go on, explain.
the gist of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know the
The
gist.
thing is, like you see something, okay,
Mhm.
and you like, for example, uh, I like, whenever people ask me this, I usually give them the example of a lava lamp, which is my personal experience, and this has happened to me. Like you hear
Mhm.
a word or you see something, okay, like
Mhm.
some weird thing, okay. For me, it was the lava lamp. So I first saw, I didn't know what a lava lamp was, and if you guys don't know what's a lava lamp, it's a type of a rocket shaped lamp where it has
Mhm.
some bioluminescent material and it just like floats around in it. So it's a very interesting thing. So the thing is, I
Mhm.
saw, I never knew what it was, I'd never seen it before, and I thought I saw it in a movie somewhere, and I started seeing it at an amazing frequency, and it was like everywhere I went, like in one moment I hadn't even heard of it, and the other moment I'm like seeing it everywhere, like it
Yeah.
occurs so like it was very weird for me. So the thing is,
Mhm.
I began wondering, like is this like it's not just with this, man. Like I also had this
Mhm.
effect, like I also had this experience with other words, like whenever I read a new word,
Mhm.
one of the recent examples, There are many recent examples, but the thing, recent examples would be, hmm, I think absolution. I think absolution to forgive, like from this thing, and I
Mhm.
kind of saw it everywhere, man. Like it's like it was weird watching it. Like
Mhm.
I saw, like, have you ever experienced that? Like
Yeah, yeah, I've kind of experienced it.
like you see a word which I've never heard of before, and you see it everywhere, and within a short period of time, it's like it's very weird for me. So I thought, like, I
Mhm.
wondered if there was actual phenomena behind it, and lo and behold, there was, man. Like it's called Beta Meinhof phenomena, which
Mhm.
basically describes something, a subject, a noun, or some word which you see or experience, and you tend to believe that you see it in a increased frequency in a short period of time. So that means to say that your brain is basically, it's not that you actually see it, like the frequency is not actually
Yeah,
increased,
I
it's just
get it.
that
I get it.
your brain is actually like looking for that. I think it's on the
Yeah,
lookout for
true,
those
true.
things, I
I
think.
guess there's like an example, like whenever you like a new car which has been released nowadays, and you
Yeah.
just like it and research about it, or probably you buy it. Once you do that, you just start seeing that car everywhere.
I think that
Even though that's not the case, even though the
yeah,
sales are
I
not
don't
gone
think
up.
it's a brain working, man. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Google who is like invading your privacy and
true,
listening
true.
to all. It's not your
True.
mind in this case. In this case, it's the fucking internet companies and all the Google and people, But like,
No, no, it's like
yeah,
you just start seeing that car in real
yeah,
life. I mean,
yeah. I've seen that too. Yeah, like I've heard a word which I've seen that in real world people have like automatically starting using it. Like
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of weird. So this was about Beta Meinhof phenomena, which is very weird, and I don't know
Mhm.
if anyone else has ever like mm, you know
Experienced it.
experienced it, but yeah. Okay, talking about next phenomena, I think it would be a Dunning-Kruger effect,
Yeah.
which is a very like what you would say interesting thing to me, because like I have seen it in people, man. Like I have seen this effect in people. So talking about Dunning-Kruger effect, this is nothing but
Mm.
people who are less skilled. Okay,
Mm.
less skilled and less intelligent, and overall generally in certain areas, usually
Mm.
tend to overestimate themselves.
Mhm.
Okay, and people who are
Mm.
usually experts in something, they tend
Mm.
to underestimate themselves. Like have you ever seen it, like this one friend?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, who is very shit at PUBG, like
Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna give this the same example
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
making.
So he's very shit at PUBG, but still he tends to overestimate himself. So, no man, I'm the greatest. I'm gonna carry you guys
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And
yeah.
person who is like very well, who is like very good at particular subject, like maybe
Mm.
games or maybe in studies, they usually tend to underestimate themselves and don't step up. And I think that's a big deal, and people should really know their limits. They should be confident in, they shouldn't be overconfident, they shouldn't be overconfidence is much more prevalent among other group of people, but mainly I think the problem with today's people is underconfidence. So people aren't confident, they don't speak up, so
Mhm.
that basically leads to the Dunning-Kruger effect. People need to realize this. They should know their
Mm.
limits, and they shouldn't overestimate, obviously, but they shouldn't underestimate either. So this is
Uh,
really one
but
thing.
still, see, it's like, see, if I start overestimating at something which I do, I
Hmm.
don't think so. I'll be able to push myself. It'll be like a
Yeah,
ego block. It's like I know everything. Why do I need to learn
yeah,
anything else?
yeah.
I
That's
think
also
it
true.
pushes you if you're under little like not confident at all. It kind of pushes you to like become confident and you start learning stuff more. So
I know,
hence it
man.
makes you. So
That's
I guess
true.
that's the.
That's 100% true. Like I know some of my friends. I'm not gonna
Mm.
take names, okay, but some friends who
Ah.
I know are absolutely the best in what they do. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have the sort of grasp power, what you might say, like and understanding of a subject very very well. But the thing is, they always tend to underestimate themselves, and they don't push themselves enough to actually make it through. which is very sad. Actually, it's sad. And the main thing about Dunning-Kruger effect, I pity about those experts who underestimate themselves rather than the people who overestimate by uh, watching it.
Like a long term.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is about Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you ever had this kind of experience with yourself, Archit? Like in any field, it might be games, your studies, your photography, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have experience in games. I guess everyone who is a gamer can relate to this though. Like you
Uh,
just start playing, you're in the beginning stage, you start winning like some 3 to 4 games in like continuously in a streak, and
mhm.
you just feel like you're the pro. And like going on as you rank up, you get still shit, and you still don't you haven't like expanded your skills. Then you like
Yeah,
come to I usually come around and like stop. I ground myself, and I
yeah.
like think I have to like grow. I'm not like the best or something.
One more thing, if you are in a team oriented work, like for example, let's take an example of games, man, because you and I play a lot of games, and we have
True.
been involved in games for a long time. And honestly, I know people view games as some sort of a weird addiction or something, but games have taught us a lot, like that obviously.
True, true,
Like,
true. I've learned
yeah.
so much. I'm not even kidding. I know
Yeah.
so much about guns only because of you.
I'm
I'm
not
not
sure
even
that's
kidding.
I'm not sure that's a good thing, but I guess okay.
Like
That's
knowing about something isn't like a
yeah,
bad thing.
okay, yeah, that's true, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, coming to that, like some games, they are very really team oriented stuff. Okay,
Mm.
team oriented games are there, like League of Legends, or it might be PUBG. These two games especially are very
Mm.
very team oriented, and your individual performance is very important, but at the same
Mm.
time team cooperation is also important. So what happens, like if you have the Running Kruger effect,
Mm.
if you are an expert
Mm.
who underestimates yourself, and
Mm.
because of that you have low confidence, and again because of that it can work the other way also. Like, think you are very unskilled, okay, but you overestimate
Mhm.
yourself, and you suck at the
Okay.
game basically, and you tend
Mm.
to blame others, rather than yourself.
Oh yeah, this is so true.
That will,
This is so
yeah, exactly, and that will lead to a sort of toxic personality about you,
true,
which
true, true,
which
true. So
yeah,
true.
which kind of sucks. That it should never happen. You should know
Mhm.
your limits, and it's very hard to remain calm and you know
Yeah, yeah.
unbiased
Game.
in those situations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Game
Yeah,
rage is like a real thing.
yeah. Okay, coming to next phenomena, I think let's talk about something which we all know, that is
Mandela effect.
peer no, not the Mandela effect, the peer pressure. Have you heard of peer pressure?
Yeah, 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 pressure.
So the thing is, it's something called bandwagon effect.
Mhm.
It's nothing but like, just because everyone else is doing, you're also doing it. It's basically like, everybody get on the bandwagon,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
this kind of thing, thinking is also very prevalent, and
The like example for this might be like all this internet what do you tell
yeah,
dramas which happen.
yeah, exactly, that's true. And also,
Even though people don't know you, they just start judging you on one mistake you have done, and they just join that bandwagon of people
that's
like
true, man, that's
going
true.
against you.
100%. This is what I call basically a sheep mentality, people's.
True, true, true.
So yeah, and this is very bad. Like, whenever you need to make decisions on yourself, man. Like, based
Mm.
on your individual things. Like, you like, for example, the peer pressure what I was talking about earlier. Peer pressure is
Mhm.
one of the worst things. Like, my mom and my sister are they're big fans of this show called Savdhan India. I think you know that.
Uh,
Yeah,
everyone knows.
crime patrol, Southern India, like,
Southern Race,
they,
Khatarnak
yeah, exactly,
Picture.
like, they really don't get any sleep at night if they don't see one or two bodies roll, or one of one or two people have been wronged.
True.
So if you see that, like, I'm not really particularly a fan of those shows, but I have seen a few episodes where a kid,
Mhm.
usually a kid, because of peer pressure, does something wrong, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
the addiction problem, committing something wrong, all sorts of stuff. That's
True, true.
basically because of the bandwagon effect or the peer pressure. And
Mhm.
one needs to have a strong mental resolve to resist those kind of stuff. and here this case, like even though it's a psychosocial phenomena, I think I don't know how this can be like handled on a like group wise. I think the best way to do this, I think, is on a individual level. Like you need to,
People
yeah,
just need to be mindful of the stuff which they are
yeah,
talking about, what they are
exactly.
doing.
They shouldn't be sheep basically. They should know the consequences. They should think for themselves. They should think for themselves. That's the word that I'll use. They should think for themselves, and they shouldn't let the thinking other people do. So
Other people, like some people, like usually try to put their thinking into some other people's minds, like kind of brainwashing, I can tell. They
yeah,
just try to put negative stuff into like other people's minds, so that they tend to be like more superior, I think. So I don't know what makes them do that, but
mhm.
still this happens a lot, and it's like really bad.
Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah,
I guess
but
there's one of my friend who is like chatting. Thanks, Pedro.
yeah,
Yeah, let's moving on. Which other effect do you wanna talk
yeah,
about now?
yeah. I'll just talk about this last thing, then we can move on to other types of
Yeah,
things.
sure. Hmm.
The last one which I wanna talk about is
Hmm.
something called gambler's fallacy.
Hmm.
So a gambler's fallacy is something which and I think which you have also, like this thing is that gambler fallacy basically says that
Hmm.
like a individual tries to predict the future based on the past events, which are basically impossible. For example,
Hmm.
since, like, think if you are a gambler, and
Hmm.
which like if you're playing rummy, okay, rummy or
Hmm.
all those other things, okay, poker and
Okay.
stuff, and if you think you have lost twice in a row,
Hmm.
and you might think like, okay, I've lost twice in a row, and maybe I
Third
might
time is
win
the
the next
charm.
time. Maybe I might win
Yeah.
the next one. And the reverse is also true. Like if you have won, okay, the first
Hmm.
time, if you have won, you might think that,
Hmm.
okay, my luck is good, or I don't know, something like that. And you might go in on again, and it's like a vicious cycle. Like
Hmm.
feeding yourself. This is basically the basic, which says that determining your future action based on past events.
Hmm.
Which in some cases is it can happen, but in specifically talking on the context of gamblers and
Hmm.
other attitudes, that's absolutely not true. You know,
Hmm.
like
True. True.
yeah, like for example, think you have written an exam and you have
Hmm.
failed miserably in it. Okay,
Yeah.
you cannot determine you cannot say that your future exam also will be the same based on the past events that have occurred. So
Hmm.
you need to be like mindful of those kind of situations, and you obviously
Hmm.
try to fight out this fallacy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I guess like gambling addicts can like relate to this a lot.
yeah, exactly. So
They're
that's
just
why
they're just
it's
keep
named
putting
after.
money in the hopes of like winning, and because of their this thing. What do you tell? Whatever the streak which is going on, the luck, the bad luck, whatever the things which might happen.
Yeah, true. But you are in the field of economics,
Hmm.
like you're in the field of commerce. I don't know if commerce and
Yeah,
economics are the same, but I think
yeah,
more
but
or less
it
the
comes
same.
under it.
Yeah, more or less the same, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in the field of commerce and economics, you guys look at statistics and all kinds
Even
of,
I wanted to talk about this, but it just veered off. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So like probability, statistics, and all those stuff. Like,
Hmm.
but obviously people will have some superstitious beliefs and stuff. So what do you think about this gambler's fallacy and like pertaining to the commerce field? Like,
See, I guess people study about history only because of that only, because so that we don't just what do you tell, repeat the
yeah,
same
yeah, that's
mistake.
a very popular saying. That's why I love
Yeah.
history, man. Like, people don't who don't know history are
Hmm.
they tend to repeat it, or they are
Hmm.
meant to repeat it, or something like that, and that usually means a bad thing, not in a good way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
See, but like people study it so that they like understand what they've made a mistake, and they just try to what do you tell? Um, they just try to better themselves by not doing the same mistake which they have done in the past. But the
hmm,
gambler's fallacy which happens is like doing the same mistake by thinking that might not happen because you have some kind of a luck.
Yeah.
some kind of an addiction to it. So
Hmm.
I think so. Being mindful of it is kind of good.
Yeah,
I
true.
think statistics and all, they're made like with a lot of research and stuff. I think so. It might make some sense when people do it.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, true.
So yeah. So going ahead, you
Yeah.
have anything more to add about the same effect?
Yeah, these are some of the weird psychosocial phenomena. Like the reason I use weird is because they were indeed weird. For example, one of the phenomena that I noticed myself was the beta Meinhof phenomena, which is pretty weird for me. But
Mhm.
other than that, I think others are not really that weird. They are pretty well
Mm.
known, you know.
True.
I guess title might be not too correct, but you know,
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah,
Yeah. Moving ahead, let's talk about the Mandela effect. I guess I love about talking about Mandela effect. I guess
yeah.
everyone might have known about this
I
in
know,
some point
man.
of.
I okay. Like I thought that Mandela was dead, man. Like really, like it's the Mandela. I know what the
Yeah,
Mandela
let's
effect.
give them a little bit of backstory before we go ahead.
Yeah. So Mandela effect is basically a false memory phenomena where uh, like most people like some international event that has happened where most people believe that something has happened where in fact we have a false memory of a event where in fact that
Mm-hmm.
has not happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you know this kind of weird like for the reason why they gave it the Mandela effect is because most people believed that Nelson Mandela, who is a South African leader, died in the 1980s, but when in fact he was actually well and alive when this term was coined, that is in 2010, and he
Oh,
died actually in the I think in 2014 probably, very recently. So, but people thought he was dead in it's not just one people; it's like so many
I
people,
think so. I almost like so many people thought I was
millions of
dead.
people. Yeah, exactly. Which is
I
very weird.
remember, I remember like thinking like Mandela was dead until he actually died. I was like, what did he die? He died now. I thought he was already dead.
Yeah, exactly. So like that, like people have you know a lot of like false memory of those stuff. What more examples do you have?
Mandela effect. I guess there are like so many examples for it. Let me try
Well,
to
yeah, there's
search.
also one more example where people think that Pikachu's tail, the end tail is actually black, but in reality it's not. You know, that's kind
Wait,
of it.
what? What are you're telling me it's not black?
It's not
I
black.
seriously did not know.
Yeah,
So
actually,
what is it?
bro, like most of the
Just
people think like I don't know how this false memory come into our minds, but it's kind of weird. Like really.
I actually did know this.
Hmm.
That's how I guess we're just talking.
Okay.
That's nice knowing.
And also, have you seen the James Bond movies, the old ones?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few James Bond movies.
Ah, okay. Have you watched this movie called Moonraker?
Moonraker, I might have watched it.
Like in Moonraker, there's this guy. His name is Jaws. So he's
Mhm,
this huge guy. Okay, he's actually Indian. In
mhm,
like thing is he's Indian. So
yeah.
the thing is that huge guy, the Jaws guy, has this silver teeth in his what in his teeth basically.
Mhm, mhm,
So the thing is he gets a girlfriend further on in the movie, and
mhm,
many people believe that even I, okay, because I am a huge fan of James Bond series,
mhm,
and even I believe that the girlfriend, I don't know her name, but she had braces,
mhm,
and in reality she didn't. And when they asked many people if she had or hadn't, and many people said that she had. It's kind of weird,
mhm.
you know. These are some of the examples of the Mandela effect, which is very weird.
I guess so there's like another good what do you tell example. Have you played Monopoly, Sakshin?
Yeah, of course I have.
You
Me and
know
my
that
friends.
you remember the logo that guy what do you call it the Monopoly guy.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. They say that he has this eye, the specs,
Uh,
right? The single
yeah, yeah, yeah,
unilens. But
yeah, you know that.
in fact, he doesn't have. He doesn't have. That's very weird,
Yeah,
man. Because it's
that's
actually very weird. Like even till now, I go and check. I have Monopoly India edition, and like I go and check, and that guy actually doesn't have.
Yeah, people kind of have a there's like a conspiracy theory revolving around Mandela effect. I feel
Uh,
it's like two what do you tell two dimensions colliding. So that's why these effects all happen, and we have all this false memory. But I don't think so. That's true though.
yeah,
Might be, who knows? Just a conspiracy theory.
maybe.
Mandela effect is real.
Yeah,
This
like
Pikachu
paranormal
thing, I still
activities.
can't believe this. I'm
Yeah,
just looking at it right now, and I still remember like Pikachu having that black part in his face.
I know, right? Like it was really weird.
Yeah. So, you wanna talk anything more about Mandela effect, or we'll just move on?
Yeah, like we'll move on now and let's talk about the current situation that's going on. Oh, first of all, there's someone in the comments saying hi, guys. Hello.
Hi guys. Hi, this is me. Yeah, it's Ritika. Hi.
Yeah. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, the current situation. I just like heard the news that the 10th exams, except in the northeast states, have been cancelled. It's a huge
Yeah.
news, and I don't know what are the implications. Like, how are they going to determine the person's ranking? I think,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's mainly depends upon the.
I guess probably because all states might have done their preparatory exams by now,
Mhm.
and they might value it on basis of their preparatory marks. I guess something like that.
Mostly, like I'm not sure.
I don't know how they're gonna do because these 10th people don't even have like sign assessments or something. I guess
Yeah,
they have no. They have like 30 marks of internals. I guess
I think so. Yeah.
it's kind of weird. I
So
feel
it's
bad
like
for those naughty students.
based on yeah, I think it's based on the internal assessment marks and all the marks you have scored in the past exams. Depending on
Mhm.
that, probably they will calculate his or her percentage for 10
Mhm.
percentage. Maybe based on that, they're gonna. Right, I mean, it's not that important, but the more discerning thing is about 12th exams. That is very important. What are they gonna do about that? Yeah,
Even 12th has been like they have been postponing. I mean, sorry, they have been pushed ahead.
I think
I
so.
don't think so. It's only 10th, I guess.
Mostly.
12th, they told they'll be telling in a few days, but I think so. It's still only 10th.
Hmm. Okay.
But sad, all these Northeast kids, man. They might be like so sad, like the whole country isn't writing the exam.
I know, right? like they'll be like they first they'll read the news ki
Uh,
all 10th exams are suspended but then
uh,
like they'll like yeah but they're like except northeast states like oh no. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
true. Probably there'll be some memes we might expect in a few days about that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess this was like a pretty successful another podcast. I think so.
Yeah, I think so, man. Like it's definitely better than the first one, so
Yeah,
yay. It's good.
yeah.
Like last time we didn't really have anything particular to talk about, but today we did have, so it was
So,
a
guys,
good
if you guys
conversation.
have any topics you guys want us to talk about, please
Yeah,
just
yeah. If
comment
you
on the video and we'll just look into it
please,
and we'll talk.
yes, if you guys have any suggestions
It'll help us
and
a lot to talk about
constructive
it.
criticism, even negative criticism, that those are also fine. If you guys want,
Yeah.
then you can just comment on the video. And even if you guys have any topics in mind or if anything you guys want us to discuss, we'll research it for you guys. And yeah, we'll upload this thing. Thank you guys.
So, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again soon. Bye bye.
Bye guys.